I want to express to you a few things that have been brewing in my heart as we have been looking at what God is building here. And just so you can know a little bit, this is going to be probably the last time I draw on this thing for a while. I keep saying that, but I promise. I can, yeah. I don't have a problem. I can quit anytime, okay? Our church is kind of split into three different areas that we focus on. And you guys don't have to play behind this part because it's going to be kind of technical. You can. I forgot to tell them, yes. No, I'm going to teach you guys a little something about who we are. And it's going to start in three main areas that the church. And again, I went to seminary and took this class. Look at that. That's the slow. It's perfect. Over here, we have endear. Right here, we have inspire. And over here, we have equip. When I think of the Orchard, this is often how I think of us. But there are three places that we are endearing ourselves to the community around us. And when we do this, when we endear ourselves to the community around us, what we want them to do is say something. We want our community, as we endear ourselves, to say, I'm glad they're there. I am glad the Orchard is there. That's what we want to do. We want to endear ourselves to our community so that they see a value. I'm glad they're there. I don't go there. I don't believe what they believe, but I'm glad they're there. That's what endear is. Inspire. This is when someone comes in this room for a Sunday morning. That's the primary place that we inspire. And what we want people to say here is, I'm glad I came. That when they come in this place on a Sunday, based on the music, based on the people, the community, the greeting, everything we do is that people will come in and go, I'm glad I came. And that God would move in those ways. And then over here we have equipping. And over here, when someone is equipped, they become a fully devoted, fully committed follower of Jesus. And there's kind of three traits we want that to look like, and that is serving, where someone would serve, they would give, and they would invite. And this goes in order, from endear to inspire and equip. This is how oftentimes, again, I will see the Orchard, and we have actually worked really hard to do some things to put some things up here so that there's a method to our madness. We'll say that much. Let's look at endearing. What are some things that, and you can talk to me during this part, okay? What are some things that we do in the community to endear ourselves to the people around us? Orchard serves. Good job. Thank you to whoever said that. Orchard serves. You know our ministry, Orchard Serves, led by Nick and a whole team of people. They go out into our community and they just got done mowing lawns and doing some spring cleanup. And now, where's Annie? What are you guys doing now? Stand up and tell everybody.
We're doing a book drive where you can bring books and CDs and ministry tapes, and then we're going to have an opportunity to come and buy other people's books and CDs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's their new initiative. They have other initiatives they're talking about. One is where they're talking to some animal shelters. They're going to have some, I guess, animals domesticated, hopefully, come down here. And the Orchard will pay the fees so if people were to come and adopt something like that. It's just a way for us to endear. There's other things we do to endear ourselves to the community. We have our generosity project. You know, the 50,000 in December, November, December, and we hand it out to you to go hand it out to everybody else. There's no strings attached. Go endear ourselves to the community. What else do? We have Faith in Blue, right? Remember, you guys know what that is? Faith in Blue, that's where we partner with the police force, Carbondale Police. We have an event celebrating what they're doing and partnering with the community. We also do our Christmas Eve, right? Christmas Eve is different around here. Christmas Eve, we have said, is a gift to our community. And we have thousands of people that show up on Christmas Eve. There's no hook. There's no like passing the plate and that thing. There's nothing. It is simply a gift. And people will come once a year and they go, we love the program. We always bring our whole family. We love it. So we have been endearing to ourselves to the community in these ways. Now, what about inspiring? This is what we do in this room. And this one's pretty simple on paper, but it actually takes a lot of work. Right, Micah? Sunday morning, and I'll put Easter in here. And Sunday morning, this is where, let's go ahead and put the staff up here. We got Micah. Yeah. We got Henry. They're the staff that we have here. And Henry and Micah, they do so much work producing and practicing. And all these people up here. And the band, they're volunteers. They take time out of their schedule. They're here on Wednesdays, late practicing. They're here on Sunday mornings, early practicing. We have, I think, the best live band in the area. And it's just, yes. We have Eric, Micah's husband, back there with the production. And they do the sound. They're back there in that room with the two-way, one-way, whatever mirror window that is. People can see you, but you can't see them. They're back there streaming it around the globe, and there's people who watch it. I don't know if you saw the stats. I don't have them with me. I wish I did. That would be smart, Daniel. Thank you. There are people around the world that are part of the Orchard, and they're all asking, are you streaming tonight? We're not streaming. You got to be here. What's going on? They love what God is doing, and they're inspired, and they're like, I'm glad I logged on. I'm glad I came. So many people, when they come on Sunday morning, we want you to be able to invite them because you are equipped and you're inviting. You can invite them without fear. We want you to be proud of your church. I wasn't always at the Orchard, and I've invited friends before. You know when you always get so nervous about inviting your friends? And you invite your friend, I promise it's not weird. And you get there and they're like, okay, today it's on demon possession and Old Testament skin disease. And you're like, I promise this never happens, you know? But there's always that fear when you bring somebody, and what we want to do is tell you we're partnering with you, that you can be proud of this place, that we want to declare Jesus both in song and in word, and that you can invite people around you and they can come and hear God's word and have an experience, and that God's Spirit will move. One thing we've been talking over and over about, and we're going to talk about it at the end, is how we have to have God move in these ways. Jesus said in John 6:44, no one comes to me unless the Father draws them. It didn't say no one comes to Jesus unless the Orchard has a really good band and Daniel has a really good sermon. No, in spite of me and with our music, God has to draw them. And so what we can do is partner in that by inviting them in. And I just want you to know that we take this seriously. The reason we go above and beyond from guest services, thank you to that team. You guys have won the day from the parking lot. From guest services to our welcome booth to Shannon and her team, it has been amazing to see people come in and go, we get all these new people saying, this place is so friendly. Now, the introverts are like, you guys talk way too much. I just want to sneak in and sit in the balcony. I can't even do that, right? We need to have like an introverts only welcome or like a door. Yeah, exactly. Not a back door, yeah, because then they'll be leaving, right? But no, we want to tell you that we take this very seriously. And we want anybody who comes, we know that you're inviting people, and we want them to say, I'm glad I came. And Micah and Henry, they are working extra here with videos, with songs, original songs, and all kinds of things. What about on equipping? Equipping, this is where we are serving, giving, and inviting. That's the goal, that we would raise up followers of Jesus who would be able to serve somewhere, to use the gifts that God has given you, to give to the mission, and to invite. Now, there are people who around you in your circles that God is wanting you to invite into this place. I'm just going to say that very boldly. And as we get more and more equipped, we see that this is a place where we can invite people in. Why? Because we're working hard to inspire that God's Spirit would move in this place. So over here in equipping, what are some things we do as a church to equip somebody? As you come in, as you're endeared, and then you're inspired and you move forward, what else? What's next? Community groups, that's right. You guys are on it. Community groups. Well, how else do we equip? Counseling. That's right, we have counseling. Free. Loving God and loving people. Yes. Like we have Bible studies. Where's Colacanta? Right there. We have Bible studies. We have community groups. We have all these. I'm going to put these up here because these are all equipping. What else do we have? Can you guys think of any? Free Bibles. Yes, we're giving away the resources to equip people so they can not just do it here, but take it out and equip themselves as the Spirit moves. We want to move people forward. I told you when I think of the orchard, I'm thinking in these terms. This is how we're thinking. And so we have endearing, inspiring, and equipping. Now over here we have these staff, but over here we have my dad, right? I'm going to put dad. You can deal with it. He's Doug. Yeah. Where'd he go? He can't sit still for long. There you are. All sleeveless. Yeah, he's a doctor with no sleeves. And then we brought Dan in, and Dan came over here as the associate pastor. Yeah. And through my dad's work as a counseling and leading of those things, and then Dan came in, and he did such a great job in where is it? I got to read this because it's so good. Dan's gonna be yelling at me. I know the stats. We went from 30 people in groups to 300. Now I don't think you understand. That right there is a grand slam in the equipping community realm. Dan over here, we went from 30 people in groups to over 300. And the more people in community, listen, I don't know if you know this, we're growing. And we need to be in community because you're going to come in here and go, I'm glad I came, but I don't know anybody. Have you been thinking that lately? I don't know anybody anymore. I don't recognize some of these faces. As God grows us, it's important that we move over here and get in community groups, get in places where we are known and knowing people. Dan did such a good job, and the church began growing so much. I said, Dan, I'm sorry, you can't be over here anymore. And so we moved Dan up here to the executive pastor, and he is kind of over all these things and helping build the whole thing. Now, don't be, okay, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I did this whole thing just to write my name at the top for the first time in my life. We can pray and be, yes, thank you, one person clap. My mom's not here, but we can now pray and go home. No. And so we're up over all these things, and then we have, Mandy, our new kids pastor. Yeah, she's not here, but she can hear us. Man, I'm so excited that Pastor Mandy is here, and she kind of is down here in a new place because as children's pastor, she doesn't really have to go out in the community and endear herself, go around and find kids. That's what the ice cream truck is for. She's like right here, that the kids would say, I'm glad I came and I'm learning about Jesus. Then we have Caleb, our youth pastor. Caleb, yes. Where are you at, Caleb? Is he with the kids? He's up there with them? Yes, okay, right. And Caleb, because he's in youth, he gets to equip and he gets to do it all. He gets to go to the games. He gets to do all these things. My son just started middle school, so he's going to middle school, and it's inspiring. My 6th grade son is a sweaty mess when he comes home, and that's a good day for a middle school boy. So that we know it's working. Now we have Ellen, and Ellen I'm just going to put her in between because she fills in all the cracks in between all these things and makes it all work. Yeah. And so when we look at this, I see that God is doing so much, but here's the deal. God said that, listen, Jesus said, I want you to make disciples. Go and make disciples. And that means we better be a good church at moving people this way. I want to say that I really failed at this for a long time. Post-COVID, when everything got shut down, we brought it back up. It was kind of just me, and we had the band and all these people here. We had Stacy doing the children's. My dad was over here. But we had a great Sunday morning, but there wasn't much over here. There wasn't many groups. There wasn't a lot of Bible studies. Now, there were some of you still meeting and still plugging along, and I just want to thank you for sticking with us through those lean years because I wasn't giving you any support. And we were a church that focused right here, and people were coming, but that's all they were doing. I'm coming on Sunday, but that's it, because I don't know what else you guys even do. What do you do, Pastor Daniel? I don't know. Just come next Sunday. I'll figure it out. So that's why we hired Dan, and that's why Dan moved up here, because Dan goes, I have an idea what to do. And so Dan starts doing all these things, and we have grown our equipping side, but we're not done. Because one thing I've seen is that we need to be much better at equipping. But before I get there, let me just read you a verses about because I want to have the Bible weigh in on these things, so you know that I'm not just up here drawing on a board again with no biblical basis. When it comes to the endearing, it says this: you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do you light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. Orchard, we should shine in this region. We should be endearing and shining in this region, even if they don't agree with us. It's like my friend down who owns our local restaurant. I told you, I handed him some gift cards when we were doing the generosity project, and he goes, well, I can't tell you what he said. He said, man, you are doing some amazing over there. He goes, man, you make me really want to rethink this whole thing. He goes, I know exactly who to give these to. And then he went and gave them away, and he came back. I saw him next week, and he just gave me this huge hug, and he goes, man, again, you're making me rethink some things. And I don't know if he'll ever step foot in here, but I know he's going to say, man, I'm glad they're there. I'm so glad they're doing what they're doing, where they're doing it. It says this, the verse continues, in the same way, let your light shine before others, before your community, before the people at your work, before your region, that they may see our good deeds as a church and as individuals and glorify the Father. May they see what the Orchard is doing in the community, and may it glorify the Father. May they see, may we mow somebody's lawn quietly, and then no one else, there's no fanfare. And they go, man, and there's no hook either. There's no charge. There's no, you have to come to church. We just say, God bless you. And they go, wow, that reflects on God. They receive a gift card. The Faith in Blue, I've done the police officers' weddings, and now I'm involved in their life because of a lot of what we've been doing with them. Christmas Eve, people know they can come here. Like we're shining the light on the Father in heaven by what we're doing. Colossians, be wise in the way you act toward outsiders. We better be wise here. We can't just hope it works. We can't just let them watch the news and assume that's us. We have to be good here. I don't mean good like we have to do good works. Well, we do have to do good works because I want them to know we have a good Father. I want them to know that. We're not earning salvation, but we want them to know God and how generous He is. 1 Peter 2:12, live such good lives among the outsiders that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see good deeds and glorify God. Let's just be really honest on this verse. Live such good lives amongst Carbondale and Glenwood to Basalt that though they see people, they call you names on the news networks, they will see that your good deeds in this region and they'll glorify God. That's not true of them. What I read about in the paper, what I hear about things, when I remember when I was a kid, the way the church wounded me or the way I hear about church on the news, these people are different. Like they just gave it away. It says, live in such good lives among the outsiders that they'll see our good deeds and glorify God. Thank God for that church being there. 1 Timothy 3:7, talking about elders in a church, and it says a church leader must have a good reputation with outsiders. And I want to say that I would like our church to have a good reputation with outsiders. That yes, we love God and love people, and that we're generously giving away in many of these ways. In Titus 2:7-8, it says this. In everything, set for them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching even, show integrity and seriousness and soundness of speech. They cannot condemn you, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing bad to say about you. Like, I'm not even for their God, but I can't really talk bad about those people because they are so generous. And I can't offend them. We got to do better here. What about inspiring? Acts 2 says all the believers were gathered together and had everything in common. That's kind of us, right? We're coming together. We're trying to be an Acts 2 church. They sold their property and possessions, and they gave those in need, so they were being generous inside the church with each other. Every day, they continued to meet together in the temple courts. We're not going to meet every day, but every day of the week, the Orchard is meeting somewhere, different groups around the area. They broke bread in their homes. They had dinners together. They had communion together. They ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all people. And it's not just enjoying the favor of church people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. That because of the way they lived, they were well regarded. By their positive reputation, their acts of kindness and generous, their authentic worship and the inspiration. When people would come and step in, they would say, that wasn't so bad. I've been afraid of church, or I didn't know that. I didn't know about that. And then we have equipping. Before we get to that, let me go a bit on Jesus. This is why I have an iPad. Do you see this? This is why. People showed up for Jesus, didn't they? And everybody's like, oh man, they showed up because they wanted to hear the message. Some did. Some wanted the food. Some wanted to see the miracles. Some wanted to see some magic. Some said, show us something, Lord. Will you feed us too? Some wanted the generosity. And what did he do? He fed all of them. He didn't say, oh, just you who are really serious, come with me. The rest of you get your own food. No. He fed all 15,000 of them. He preached to all of them. Some just came for the generous handout. Some just came for the show and the miracle. Some came for those things, and he loved them, and he proclaimed it anyway. He never told them, how dare you come here just for a meal? Hey, there's plenty for you. Take more. Eat till you're done. That's what it means to endear ourselves. And then we have equipping. Endearing and inspiring. Then we have equipping. Matthew 28. Go and make disciples of all nations. Baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And teach them to obey everything I've commanded you. Go and make disciples. Don't just endear them. Don't just inspire them. Make them have a good time on Sunday. Equip them. May they be followers of Jesus. You know, the church, a lot of times, we were guilty of just being inspirational. We want to build and equip disciples. And some churches I've been a part of, we just want to equip, and Sundays aren't all that inspiring. And we're not all that endearing at all. Like, I want to make sure that we are winning every single one of these sections. We need to get better at all these, except for the band, of course. Ephesians 4:11, when it comes to equipping. So Christ himself gave to the church apostles and prophets, evangelists, and pastors and teachers to equip his people with works of service. So the body of Christ, that's us, may be built up to reach unity in faith and the knowledge of the Son of God. Knowledge, built up, being equipped to become maturity, attaining the wholeness, a whole measure of the fullness of Christ. Do you see that we're not just here to gather and have fun and have high emotion, and we want high devotion. We want our people, the people from out of here, to know they're glad we're here. I'm glad we came, but we're going somewhere. And God can transform your life. And so one thing that we've been doing is we've been thinking about this, is that we have to continue to invest more and more in equipping. And so I'm going to announce a new hire tonight. We've hired a discipleship pastor. And I'm happy to announce that we are hiring Dr. David Corson. Would you stand up? Would you stand up? There's Dr. David. Yes. You will get to know him a lot better. Travis and I and Jake got the privilege of going to Vanuatu with him. And to be around Dr. David is to be equipped. In fact, we were talking about when we were hiring him, like, can we just hire David to hang out with people? Like, you've got to get breakfast with this guy. You've got to sit next to him, and you'll leave going, man, I am better equipped for this spiritual walk. How many countries have you done a mission trip to? 70. So he knows something about missions, which is also what we've asked him to do, is to help us. Listen, he is going to provide the Orchard members with opportunities in biblical education, ministry experience, and missional adventures to grow our faith. David is someone to get around. David is someone, when he says we're going on a mission trip, ooh, I want to check that out. Just even talk to him about it. I don't know if I'm going, but I'm going to talk to him about it. David is somebody. Listen, we're also, through David, we're bringing a pastor from Vanuatu here in October, most likely, Pastor Ishmael. He'll probably speak up here. Yes. We're looking to bring in more people from Africa. There are 12 churches in Vanuatu through a lot of David's leadership and a lot of your giving, as we have sent a lot of things over there. And listen, we had over 460 salvations in the nation of Vanuatu in the last 2 years through Orchard churches. There are Orchard, did you hear that number? Yeah, if you're going to clap at anything, clap at that. One thing David is also going to do, he's going to start something called because we want more ways to equip. And so we have missions down here. And there's going to be a lot of work that he does there. But also the Orchard Equipping Center. And it's going to start in the fall. It's going to start offering 3 different classes. This is a place for us to come and learn more. Education, information, experience. There's going to be a missions perspective class that gives you a global view of what God is doing, to see what it means to do mission work. There's going to be a study on the book of Revelation. People continue to ask for more of that, and I want to teach it there and not up here, okay? David's the expert. He's the one. And also we're looking at a marriage class, strengthening and building up marriages starting in the fall. And every semester we'll have new classes under David's leadership as he sees what can we, an Old Testament survey, a look through the New Testament, what it could be. And these are things for you to engage in, to come on a weeknight, on a Tuesday night, let's say, to come here and learn about the Old Testament, to learn about the lineage of Jesus. And I don't even know what it's going to be, but I know this, that we've got to be a better equipped church, and bringing David on is one of the things that we want to do, to provide us these ministry opportunities and experiences and education. I am very excited about that. But there is an area that I've had a holy discontent with it for a long time. If you've talked to my wife or any of these elders here, they will tell you there's an area that just, it irritates me in a good way. It's a holy irritation. And I keep saying, we can't just send money overseas. We've got to impact this place. I'm a local boy. I went to high school right back over there. I was saved in Carbondale city limits. I know the driveway where I was led to Christ by my dad on a visitation night. This area matters to me. The people matter to me. And every year, I put $50,000 in a local missions budget. And I go, what are we going to do this year? And it's not this generosity. We have a very generous person who says, I got that for you. This is money set aside for local missions. But it's hard to find local missions. I've told you again that foreign missions, and we love those too, but foreign missions often have a trifold, lots of pictures and ways to give. Find me a trifold piece of paper on the homeless youth of Carbondale, to which there I think are 21, or the homeless youth of Glenwood, or the abused women. Like, it's not okay with me if we are sending lots of money other places and doing lots of good things over here, and it's inspiring in here, but we're not doing anything in our backyard for people who are hurting. We should be known as the redemptive center of this entire region. And every year, we put this aside in this budget. I spent $278 of it today. I met a lady from Italy who didn't speak any English, and her and her daughter in a hotel room at Comfort Inn tonight. And that's how it gets spent. A little bit here and a little bit there. But that's not enough for me. That's not enough for our elders. That's not enough for Dan and our staff. And so we made another hire. We've hired a community pastor whose job is to provide events and projects and experiences that love God and love people in action to our community, to reach out into our community and connect them with us, and to help connect us into community groups. So community out and community in. And this pastor is going to partner with nonprofits. This pastor is going to do back to school events, honoring teachers and the needy students who don't have enough maybe to pay for things. First Friday, a presence of First Friday, a presence of Mountain Fair and Strawberry Days, rodeo outreach, Christmas and Easter, expanding the single parent outreaches and resources, poor and needy in our area. It's truly to take love God and love people, and to take what we've always said we're about and begin to have someone who says, I got this. Someone who was born here and knows the culture. And so I want to announce today that we've hired Jake Hewer to be our community pastor. And so Jake is going to be someone who is going to dedicate himself to thinking, how can we, the Orchard, reach out? And he's going to be someone who leads these teams. And if you were excited about, I have some ideas what we should do, don't talk to me anymore. Talk to him. I got a whole list of them, and they're great, but we got somebody. Also, we hired somebody else. But wait, there's more. I might hire you. I might just if I write your name up here, just go with it, okay? In 2011, the Orchard Gathering Center won Business of the Year. It won Business of the Year. It was an event center to provide and host a place for people to come and have excellent events. And so we have hired somebody to provide a world-class facility to our community and host events with love and with excellence. Someone who would have experience doing this. Someone who may have been there in 2011 when they won Business of the Year. So we hired Scott Robinson. to do our events and facility. And so, Orchard, I hope you can see, based on what I'm drawing here, that we're not just a church anymore that's going to inspire on Sundays and then good luck. But we're not also just a church that's going to say, let's go deep. We're gonna do that, but also we're gonna cast the net out. And in all the ways as we continue to grow, that we are going to serve in these places. We're going to serve in children's ministry. We're going to serve in Orchard Serves. We're going to serve at Scott's events. Why? Because we know it reaches out to the community. That we're going to start serving and having places to plug in. That we're going to give because giving undergirds the whole thing. And we are going to invite right here. Continue to invite. Because there are people around you who need the message of Jesus, who God is calling. And they'll sit next to you and have the privilege of hearing his message. And so that's the news of invitation tonight. That's the news of the announcements tonight. And I'm excited. I am so excited. I'm so excited about what God is building here. I'm so thankful for Dan Bosco bringing his gifts to what he has in this. And we've been talking, and Dan said something. We got done with the meeting, and he goes, bro, that's what he says. He goes, bro, I feel like I could feel the shuttle starting to launch. I could feel the rocket taking off. Like we've cleared the ground. I've been telling you for years that God is building something in the Orchard for the Orchard as we look forward. And as you see this, I hope you can see that we are moving. I'm going to tell you how we're moving in a little bit in a second. But I think it's a good place to stop for right now and do some worship because I believe that God is worthy to be worshiped. And one thing I'm going to do the song "Same God," just FYI. This song is, if I'm going to put on a song, this is the song I'll put on a lot of times. It just says the same God who was in the Old Testament is the same God who sent Jesus, the same God who we have now. And this God has been giving us wisdom. He's been giving us resources. He's been calling you. He's been having you serve and give and invite. He's been building something in the Orchard because, listen, there are 96% of this area unchurched. I told the local pastor, I'm going to tell you this before, I told the local pastor, listen, we're not going to compete with each other. I said, when everybody's saved, I'm coming for your people. We had a good laugh. But we know there's plenty. There's so many people who don't yet know Jesus. And your church, I hope you can see it, is serious about reaching out, about inspiring in this place, and about equipping the saints to do great works. So let's sing about the same God who not only built things in the past and did great movements, but who wants to do a great movement now. And that's what I want to say. I think God wants to spark a revival through the Orchard. And I think that we're going to have the privilege of watching people come to Christ in a new way, in a large-scale way. That's my prayer. And so as we sing this song, and people about him being the same God, will you sing it with me in the spirit of inspiration and celebration? That God is going to be calling people to Jesus. Let's stand, let's worship.